Hey everybody. Every once in a while I hear a phrase that someone uses and I think, man, I wish I had said that. And so I had that experience yesterday when I was listening to a former Trump voter explaining to other Trump voters why he thought that they shouldn't vote for Trump this time around. Republican voters against Trump kicked off their 2024 efforts this week. And I highly recommend that you look at their YouTube page. That's where I saw the video that I'm going to share with you here. I like this group a lot. I made a video for them myself back in 2020, and they used parts of it in a commercial with several other evangelicals who were speaking out against Trump back then. I can't make a video for them this year because this year they're only featuring videos from people who've previously voted for Donald Trump. And since I never voted for him, I don't qualify this time around. But these are great videos. Usually they're about 1.5 minutes long. I think they edit them down. It's just real people telling their stories. If you have a friend or a family member who's on the fence about supporting Trump, or if you yourself are on the fence, these videos might just be a great resource. The whole point of Republican voters against Trump is to let people who have their doubts about Trump know that they're not alone, and to create a permission structure for them to break away from the pack. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to do here as well when I make these videos about Trump. Mine are just geared more specifically to Christians who have their doubts about Trump. I'm here to say you should have those doubts and you're not alone. So the video I'm going to show you here is from a man named Eric. And as I mentioned, he's a former Trump voter, and I'm not going to play his whole talk because I really want to just focus on his closing statement. I think that he's come up with a profound way of appealing to people that Trump takes advantage of because of their conservative beliefs. For myself, I'm not even thinking in terms of left or right during the Trump era, liberal or conservative, because I don't think we have the luxury of arguing along those lines when our democracy is at stake. But this guy is speaking to conservatives, and he's saying that as far as he's concerned, Donald Trump is disqualified from being the conservative standard bearer. He gives his reasons. A lot of it has to do with January 6th, but he has other reasons too. And then he sums it up like this.
Don't vote for the Trump that you wish existed. Vote against the Trump that does exist.
Don't vote for the Trump that you wish existed. Vote against the Trump that does exist. I think that's a profound statement. One of Donald Trump's superpowers is his ability to convince his followers that he's one of them, that he represents their concerns, that he cares about them. He's really good at identifying the problems that exist in a country as large as ours, and he's good at playing on the irritations and the fears of his followers. And as long as he does that, they give him a pass on the things that really ought to disqualify him from leadership. If there's one word that I'd use to summarize Trump's life, both before and after his presidency, it'd be fraud. He's been selling people a bill of goods for his whole life, and his shamelessness and dishonest self-promotion have worked for him. They've brought him all the way to the White House. But the thing is, I don't think most of his followers even really believe his act. I think that deep down, they know that he's a fraud, and they know that he doesn't have the power to fix the things in their lives that really bother them or make them angry or make them afraid. But they like the things he says. He hates all the right people. He talks tough about how he's going to fix everything that's wrong with the country, and they just kind of go along with it. I think that this phrase that Eric here used gets to the heart of why a lot of people vote for Trump. I think it's wish fulfillment. What they're experiencing, I think, is something like, I don't like some of the harder parts of living in a modern, pluralistic society, and this guy is expressing what I feel. And they think that just because he names their fears and their disappointments, that somehow he has the answer to solving those things, but he doesn't. Another consistent theme of Donald Trump's life is that he ruins everything that he's involved in. He ruins his relationships. He ruins his businesses. He's ruining the Republican Party right now. And he's in the process of ruining the bonds that tie our nation together across all of our differences. If you think that Donald Trump is going to make a positive impact on the future of our nation, then you're really not paying attention to who he is, to who he's always been. He's just a very toxic force. And his supporters are using the line lately, "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?" And I think people are going to answer that question in different ways, but I have some questions I think are better questions. Is our nation more united since Donald Trump entered politics? Is our nation more sane than it was before Donald Trump? Is your family more divided than it was before Trump? Do you feel better about our system of government than you did before Trump? How many people that you used to respect have you rejected now because they spoke against Trump? Do you seriously respect any of the new leaders who've emerged in the Republican Party since Trump? Do you want to live in a world where the most vile human beings, people like Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, gain power because of their support for Trump? How is it that all the worst people in the world are on Trump's side? What do they see in him? If you're someone who plans to vote for Trump, what positive things are you seeing in him that lead you to do that? He's a vile human being, and to the extent that Christians support him, the world perceives us as vile too. And why do we do that? Don't vote for the Trump that you wish existed. Vote against the Trump that does exist. Thanks for listening.